Have you ever heard of Hannibal Barca, the warrior who made the mighty Roman Empire tremble? He wasn't just a general, he was a mastermind, a force of nature. With sheer strategy and unshakable will, he crushed the Romans in battle after battle, outthinking and outmaneuvering the greatest military power of his time. But what happened next was something he never expected. His own people betrayed him. After all he had fought for, after all the victories he had secured, the very nation he dedicated his life to turned its back on him. Now, most men, when faced with this level of betrayal, would crumble. They would seek validation, beg for recognition, or waste their energy trying to prove their worth to those who discarded them. But Hannibal, he did something different. He disappeared. Not out of weakness, not out of fear, but because he understood something most men never realize. Your true power isn't in fighting for a place in someone's life. It's in becoming someone they can never replace. Hannibal didn't chase, he didn't beg, he didn't try to convince those who betrayed him to take him back. Instead, he became a ghost, a legend, someone Rome could never forget. And just like that, his absence became louder than any words he could have spoken. Now, look at your own life. You were abandoned, rejected, tossed aside as if you never mattered. And what are you doing? Sitting in silence, hoping they'll regret it? Wrong. Because as long as you're waiting, you're still losing. Today, I'm going to show you a strategy more powerful than no contact. A strategy that won't just make them miss you, it will make them terrified of losing you forever. But before we continue, if you're ready to step into a reality where no one controls you anymore, drop a comment. I control my destiny. Welcome to Stoic Spirit, your source for mastering emotions, power, and unshakable self-worth. If you're ready to rise, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It's time to take back control. Now, let's begin. Number 1, the first fall. They won't regret it if you're still weak. This is the typical story. You get abandoned with no explanation. One moment, everything feels perfect. Late-night conversations, inside jokes, the feeling that you finally found someone who sees you. And then out of nowhere, they're gone. No warning, no closure. Just an empty silence that hits you harder than any words ever could. You scroll through old messages, replaying every detail, searching for the mistake. Was it something you said? Were you too available? Not enough? Your mind becomes your own worst enemy, torturing you with what-ifs and maybes. People tell you to go no contact, disappear, they say, make them miss you. And so you do. You delete their number, block their socials, force yourself to stay silent, hoping that the absence will make them regret walking away. But deep down, you're still waiting. You check your phone, hoping to see their name. Every notification makes your heart race. You convince yourself you're moving on, but every action is still for them. You think you're in control, but you're still a prisoner. Here's the brutal truth. No one regrets losing someone they know is still waiting. No contact isn't enough if all you're doing is counting the days until they come back. They can feel it. They know you're still tied to them, still hoping, still suffering in silence. And that is exactly why they don't regret leaving, because weakness is never attractive. Neediness kills desire. They don't crave what is easy to reclaim, they crave what feels unattainable. And as long as you're mentally stuck in the past, as long as your happiness depends on their return, you are still weak. So what's the answer? You don't just disappear, you evolve. No contact is not a strategy, it's a phase. The real strategy? Becoming someone they can never reach again. Not through silence, not through waiting, but through absolute transformation. That means you don't sit around hoping they'll miss you. You don't check their social media, looking for signs that they still care. You stop playing the game you've already lost. Instead, you take all that energy, all that pain, and you use it as fuel. You sharpen your mind. You refine your body, you master your emotions, you stop trying to prove your worth to them, and you start proving it to yourself. Because here's the reality, people don't regret losing someone they think they can have back anytime. They regret losing someone who became so powerful, so untouchable, that they have no choice but to question everything. When they finally look back and see that you didn't just move on, you outgrew them, that's when regret hits. But by then, you won't even care. If you're done waiting, if you're ready to evolve, Drop a comment below. I am untouchable. Number 2. True indifference. The secret that haunts them. Most people think no contact is enough, that if they simply stay silent, the other person will start missing them, wondering where they went, regretting their decision. And sometimes, yes, it works, but most of the time, it doesn't. Because silence is not the same as indifference. There's a huge difference between no contact and true indifference. No contact means you're still emotionally connected. You're waiting for a reaction. You're hoping they reach out, checking their stories, wondering if they're thinking about you. You might not be texting them, but in your mind, they still exist. True indifference is different. True indifference is when they no longer live rent-free in your head. It's when you don't just stop talking to them, you stop caring about them entirely. And that is what haunts people the most. Think about it. If you ignore someone, but deep down, you still want them back, they can sense it. They feel your energy. They know you're playing a role. But when you truly detach, when you genuinely stop giving a damn, that's when everything shifts. Because people expect you to be hurt. They expect you to chase, to check in, to miss them. When you don't, it forces them to question everything. Here's the psychological trap. People are drawn to what they cannot control. As long as they feel like they can have you back at any time, they don't care about losing you. But the second they feel you slipping away for real, that's when the panic sets in. Imagine this. They walk away fully convinced that you'll still be there, waiting in the shadows, hoping for another chance. A few weeks pass, and they assume you're still thinking about them. A month goes by, and they expect you to reach out. But you don't. 2 months. Still nothing. And then, one day, they check your profile, expecting to see some trace of the old you, the one who would have given anything to have them back. But instead, they see someone unrecognizable. You're not posting sad quotes. You're not playing games. You're not trying to make them jealous. You're just gone. Living, thriving, unbothered. And that's what destroys them. Because silence can be ignored. But the realization that they no longer matter, that is unbearable. So how do you reach this level? How do you go from no contact to true indifference? The answer is simple. You stop making them the center of your universe. You remove them from the equation completely. You stop hoping, stop waiting, stop wondering. You shift your focus entirely to yourself, your goals, your ambitions, your life. This means you don't check their social media at all. You don't wait for a text that may never come. You stop measuring your healing by whether or not they regret leaving. You use your pain as fuel, not to get them back, but to build a life so incredible that they become nothing more than a forgotten memory. And here's the best part. By the time they realize what they lost, by the time they try to reach out to check in to see if they still have a hold on you, you won't even care, because you won't be the same person they left behind. This is the power of true indifference. It's not a game. It's not an act. It's the final transformation, when you become the kind of man who never looks back because the past has nothing left to offer him. If you're ready to stop pretending and start truly detaching, drop a comment below. I need no one. I choose myself. Number 3. The 3-month rule. Why they always come back. Ever notice this pattern? It happens over and over again, almost like clockwork. A breakup happens, you get left behind, you go silent, and just when you're starting to heal, just when you finally stop thinking about them, out of nowhere, they reach out. 3 months later, a simple text, a random like on an old photo, a "Hey, how have you been?" message that seems harmless, but it's not. It's a test, and most men fail. Why does this always happen? Because people don't appreciate what they have, but they fear losing something forever. When they first leave, they don't think twice about it. They assume you'll be there. That if they ever change their mind, they can just come back, and you'll welcome them with open arms. You're still in their mental pocket, just waiting. So they don't feel any urgency. They don't feel any loss. Not yet. But as time passes, something shifts. They start to notice something they never expected. Your silence isn't temporary. It's real. At first they tell themselves that you're just mad, that you're giving them the cold shoulder to play hard to get. But after a while, that confidence fades, and the questions start creeping in. Did he really forget about me? Did he find someone else? Did I make a mistake? And that's when the fear sets in. Because people don't crave what they can have. They crave what they've lost. The human brain is wired for scarcity. If something is available, we take it for granted. But the moment we feel like it's slipping away completely, permanently, that's when we panic. That's when we start to want it back. But this is where most men fail. The moment she texts, they think it's a second chance. They think, this is it. She finally realized what she lost. And in their excitement, they respond too quickly, too eagerly, too emotionally. They give her exactly what she wanted, confirmation that she still has control. And just like that, she wins. Because most of the time, she's not reaching out because she wants you back. She's reaching out to see if you're still there, to see if you still care. If you still respond, if you still show any signs of attachment, she knows she hasn't truly lost you. And the moment she realizes that, she walks away again, more confident in her decision than ever before. So what's the right move? Simple. You don't react. No immediate reply, no excitement, no overanalyzing her message. If you do respond, you do it on your time, not hers. And when you do, your response is short, emotionless, and closed-ended. Something like, I'm good, hope you're well. Nothing more. No follow-up. No question, no opening for further conversation. Because the real power move isn't getting her back. It's making her realize she can never have you again. If you're done making the same mistake, drop a comment. I don't chase, I attract. Number 4, controlled silence. Drive them crazy without saying a word. No contact is not a weapon. Controlled silence is. Most men think no contact means disappearing completely. Cutting off all communication, blocking, avoiding, hiding. But that's not the most powerful strategy. Because if you disappear too obviously, they assume you're just doing it out of pain. That you're sulking, that you're bitter, that you're just trying to make a point. And that gives them a false sense of power. The real strategy? Controlled silence. What does this mean? It means you don't disappear. You become unpredictable. You don't block them, but you don't engage either. You don't delete old pictures in a fit of rage, but you don't like, comment, or acknowledge them at all. You're not absent, but you're also no longer easily accessible. You exist, but as a mystery they can't figure out. Because mystery is power. People are drawn to what they don't understand. If they think you're still hurting, they won't be curious. If they think you're playing games, they won't be intrigued. But if they can't tell, if your silence isn't predictable, if your absence isn't obvious, if your energy has completely shifted, that's when they start obsessing. Here's how to execute controlled silence perfectly. You don't delete them, but you never engage. No likes, no replies, no reactions. You don't block them because blocking is emotional. It shows you're still affected. Instead, you simply become unavailable. You don't post for attention. No sad quotes, no passive-aggressive captions, no indirect messages meant to make them jealous. That's weak. Instead, you let them wonder. You let your absence create curiosity. You change. You don't just sit around waiting. You use this time to evolve. You hit the gym. You start new hobbies. You become someone completely different. And when they finally check in to see what you're up to, they won't recognize the person you've become. And when they reach out, you don't react emotionally. If you truly don't care, you don't reply at all. If you want to stay in control, you reply with absolute indifference. No excitement, no emotion, no validation. A simple response, I'm good, thanks for asking. That's it, no follow-up, no opening for conversation, nothing that gives them the satisfaction of knowing they still have a hold on you. Here's why this works. When you ghost someone completely, they assume you're just hurt. But when you show up occasionally, effortlessly, without needing validation, they start to question everything. They expected you to break, to wait, to watch their every move. But instead, you've become an unreadable mystery. That drives them insane. And the best part? You're not doing this for them. You're doing this because you've moved on. They are no longer the main character in your story. If you're done playing the old game and ready to shift into true power, drop a comment. I am a mystery. Number 5. Strategic disappearance. How to make your presence unpredictable. People don't miss what's always available. They don't crave what they can easily predict. The human mind is wired for uncertainty. We are drawn to what confuses us, to what we can't fully grasp. And that is exactly why strategic disappearance is so powerful. Most men think going no contact means vanishing completely, blocking her, deleting everything, erasing all signs of your existence. But that's not the move. If you disappear too obviously, she assumes you're just bitter, just sulking in silence, waiting for her to notice. And the moment she assumes that, she stops thinking about you. The real move? You don't disappear completely. You disappear unpredictably. You break the pattern. One day she sees nothing from you. No updates, no signs. Silence. Then suddenly, weeks later, you appear, but different. A new environment, a new energy, a version of yourself she's never seen before. Here's how to execute strategic disappearance perfectly. You pull back suddenly, then reappear stronger. Most people slowly fade away after a breakup. Not you. One day, you're there. The next, you're gone. And when you finally resurface, you don't just return, you evolve. New hobbies, new places, new people, new energy. She needs to see that your world didn't stop when she left, it expanded. You don't post sad quotes, no passive-aggressive messages, no games. That's weak. You're not here to prove anything. Instead, you let your absence create curiosity. You make her wonder, why hasn't he said anything? Is he even thinking about me? You let them see just enough, but never too much. You don't disappear forever. You drop small glimpses of your new life, but in a way that never tells the full story. A photo with no context, a post that sparks curiosity. Something that makes her ask herself, what's he up to? Has he changed? Is he with someone else? The key is mystery. Why does this work? Because the mind hates unfinished stories. When you disappear in an unpredictable way, her brain starts filling in the gaps. She starts imagining, obsessing, and the more she tries to figure you out, the more she gets trapped in her own thoughts. The power move? You never explain anything. If she ever reaches out looking for answers, you don't tell her where you've been. You don't give her closure. You don't feed her curiosity. You remain an enigma. When they can't predict you, they can't stop thinking about you. And when they realize they no longer have access to your life, that's when regret begins to burn. If you're ready to disappear in a way that makes them question everything, drop a comment. I move in silence. Number 6. The final rebirth. Becoming someone they can never reach. The ultimate goal? Not making them regret. Not waiting for them to return, but becoming someone they can never touch again. You don't do this by playing games. You don't do this by trying to make them jealous. You do this by evolving so far beyond who you used to be that they become a distant memory. Someone who once knew you but can never access you again. Most men get stuck in the cycle of revenge. They want their ex to see them winning, to see them thriving, to regret leaving. And while that might feel satisfying in the moment, it's still a form of attachment, because as long as your success is fueled by a desire to make them notice, you're still letting them control you. Here's the brutal truth. Real power is not improving anything. Real power is in indifference. The moment you no longer care whether she notices, whether she regrets, whether she looks back, that is when you have won, because that is when you are truly free. How do you achieve the final rebirth? You don't block them, you outgrow them. Blocking is emotional. It says, I need to remove you because you still affect me. Instead, you make them irrelevant. You reach a point where they could message you and it wouldn't change a thing. You don't text them, you move forward. No checking in, no seeing how they're doing, no waiting for them to realize what they lost. Because if they ever do, they'll realize it too late. You don't seek validation, you become validation. The old you needed attention, needed closure, needed proof that you were worth something. The new you are the proof. You don't need to show them you've moved on, because you truly have. The mindset shift: stop living as if they're watching. Stop posting for them. Stop waiting for them to see your success. The moment you stop caring about their perception, you become untouchable. They can't reach you. Not physically, not emotionally, not mentally. You are no longer an option in their world. And that is the ultimate victory. When they finally look back, when they finally check in, when they finally start to regret what they lost, they'll realize something devastating. The version of you they once knew no longer exists. They thought they could come back one day, that you'd always hold a place for them. But now, when they look at you, they don't see the same person. They see a stranger, someone they will never have access to again. Because you didn't just move on, you transcended. If you're ready to become someone no one can ever break again, drop a comment. I never look back. The real test. Are you ready? This is where everything changes. Watching this video isn't enough. Knowing the strategy isn't enough. Now, it's time to act. Because power isn't in what you understand, it's in what you apply. For the next 7 days, you are going to prove to yourself that you are in control. That no one, no past relationship, no fleeting memory, no ghost from your past has power over you anymore. This isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your focus, your energy, your self-worth. For the next 7 days, follow these rules with absolute discipline. Do not check their social media. No stalking, no scrolling through old posts, no wondering what they're doing or who they're with, because every time you check, you give them space in your mind. And that is space they no longer deserve. Do not reply to their texts. If they reach out, it doesn't matter. Their words are irrelevant. You do not break your silence for breadcrumbs. If they truly regretted losing you, they would have never let you go in the first place. Spend at least 1 hour a day improving yourself. Gym, reading, learning, building. Every minute wasted thinking about them is a minute you could have invested in your evolution. When they finally look back, when they finally realize what they lost, you won't just be better, you'll be unreachable. You may think 7 days is nothing, but I promise you, these 7 days will reveal everything. If you struggle, if you feel tempted to check, to respond, to break the silence, then you know who still has control. But if you complete this challenge, if you hold the line, you will wake up on the 8th day with a different mind, a different energy, a different level of self-respect. And if you can do this for 7 days, you can do it for life. The ultimate victory is not getting them back. It's realizing you never needed them in the first place. It's stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't wait, doesn't chase, doesn't look back. Because when you finally stop caring, that's when everything shifts in your favor. So now, the real question is, are you ready? If you are, if you accept this challenge, if you're ready to step into the next level of your life, drop a comment below. I never look back. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you are done chasing, you are done waiting, you are done being controlled. And if you want to stay on this journey of power, mindset, and transformation, hit that subscribe button. This is Stoic Spirit, where we don't beg, we don't break, we rise. Now is your time. Never bow down. Never look back. Go build your empire. And thank you for watching.